going to be with some of that champs, as I do know Champ Select is already for you, Skimmy and Max.
Beautiful. Well, let's kick on then with Champions Select. Nat, thank you so much for guiding us through that one. As we get ready to lock and load in and see what Bliss have in store for us as they get first pick priority here. They're going to ban away the likes of a Poppy, which is an interesting one.
Yeah.
Same could be said then for the Milio, but the Varus is definitely one that you wouldn't be too surprised about.
So the Poppy ban is really interesting to me, right? I know that it's very good against something like a LeBlanc, perhaps, but that's going to be the counter ban that's taken away. Varus as well, the lethality AD carry that can be played in that position, kind of that sort of poke AD carry. Katsuri also having a lot of familiarity on that champion from his previous days. So the question to me is, Lucian's available for 1P. Do you pick it, or do you pick the pick that Tomasino said is the only champ you can have fun on in top lane?
Surely, if you're Biopanther right now, knowing that you can play literally every champion in the game, you're screaming, please, one time let me carry. He gets the Rumble, and now we get to understand just how broken this champion is. Yes, they also get the ability to pick a bunch of OP champions themselves. The question becomes then, with all those options available, what is the most broken? And Katsuri currently considering the Kalista.
Yeah, I mean, Kalista Rel, Kalista plus any engaged support is a really good answer into a lot of these squishy lethality using champions. Just provides you so much explosive power around that bot lane early on, right? And when we've seen in the previous 2 games, bot lane very much dictated the way that the game went from the minute 1. If you can have that really explosive 2v2 combo, you're able to win in those skirmishes early on, you're going to be doing really well. And having this engaged pairing makes it all the scarier for the Bliss bot lane.
The weird thing for me, just quickly whilst we talk about the Poppy, is like, I know Lisa was insanely good at Lee Sin. Lee Sin seems to be in a pretty good spot at the moment to lock in, but they say, look, we saw you play a few Poppy games way back for Peace in 2022. We're banning that despite the LB being banned. It's a confusing one at that, but regardless, it's going to be the Renata locked in with the Aphelios. Violet and Scott wanted to show how it's done.
And it almost ends up hurting them, right, as well, if you are Bliss here, right? Because having Poppy into Kalista is a really, really nice matchup for the side of the Poppy. Now, this would be very unexpected. Oh my...
Okay.
Okay, so this is what I was talking about before, Skimmy. River is a Riven one-trick in solo queue, or at least he was, right? That's what he was known for. He's known for his Riven. And he is just slamming this into Rumble, into Biopanther's Rumble.
Tell me this. You're up against Biopanther, arguably the best top laner in the entire region at this stage. You're saying Riven is the play. You need to be a bit of a demon to lock this champion in competitive. We don't see it too often. Is it too far to say? Or was he trying to make a stake on stream that I am the best Riven in Oceania? We got a few of them out there.
No, I think this is absolutely the way to go, right? This is his debut. He's very unexpected. And then what you realize is, because we're playing a best of 2, if this pick does end up finding success, he is just going to have a field day, because then you have to worry about banning a Riven, which you would never have to worry about banning against any other team, right? So I think that if there's any game to test the waters to see whether, you know, this pick that you have so much experience in solo queue can translate to the competitive stage, I would say it's this game.
So it almost feels like to me that River's trying to do a Dajong here, where it's like, I'm going to play Zoe, going to then be forced to ban it away because it's going to find success. So hopefully this Riven pops off. It's been such a long time. I'd actually have to jump into the archives and try and figure out when was the last time. I vaguely remember Tien playing like a full crit build, like Infinity Edge, Riven very long ago. That might have been way back 2020. So we're really thinking back. I'd have to check on that one. But regardless, Direwolf's second rotation of bans. They're going to take away the Xin as well as the Azir. Make sure that Harry doesn't have too much agency. But as for Bliss, they say no Syndra and no Blitzcrank.
Yeah, and just to go back to this top lane matchup, I feel like it's the only thing I'm going to speak about for this champion select.
It's exciting.
It's really interesting to see how it's going to go, right? Because Rumble is notorious for being a lane bully. He's very, very good in lane, especially taking Ignite. And Riven is a champion who can fight decently in lane, but if Riven gets behind and is really shoved under a turret, it is going to be a hard matchup versus the Rumble, right? You do have to be able to fight him, and you do have to be able to be on relatively even footing to be able to do so. So if they can play around this top lane effectively, if Lisa can get some ganks to, you know, burn some Biopanther summons, force him to take some bad backs, perhaps you can get into an even footing and then really unlock the potential of this Riven.
Well, here we go. They've locked themselves in the Nautilus, but an instant response from Bliss. They're wasting no time at all. Back with the pressure on the timer here for Direwolf, so 20 seconds to round things out. It's going to be the Tristana as well as the Lilia, which is also being one of the major benefactors of this new season, coming back into the fold of things. As Direwolf say, our final pick is going to be the Orianna.
It's a very interesting discrepancy in the comp, Skimmy, here. On the side of Bliss, you have literally no CC, you have all pushing lanes, you're trying to snowball early, use this range advantage to set up first and get priority over objectives. Whereas on the side of Direwolves, you have a fantastic engage, right? In terms of skirmishes, you have so much CC that you can throw out to try to catch someone off guard. So it's really going to be on Bliss to make sure that they're executing correctly, they're not getting caught out, they're not making mistakes macro-wise, or else they're just going to be caught up in this endless CC provided by Direwolves.
Yeah, I mean, Direwolves have certainly built themselves a more conventional and even traditional, if you want to use that word, draft instead. As to Bliss, it's a case of, well, we just think pound for pound we're better than you, so we're just going to win lane, win game. It's really seemingly as simple as that for their appreciation of it. I think the funny thing for me is the fact that we got the Lilia coming out this early on. I remember seeing a post on Twitter ages ago by Why Not saying, you know, look how good I am in this like in-house game he played. I think he finished like with 20 kills or something. So
yeah,
no doubt he's hoping to say, look guys, Lilia is broken. It needs to be banned. One more ban, which to your point of like the Riven, you know, a must ban that goes into consideration here.
Yeah, Lilia is incredibly broken. I think the new items have benefited her really well. Storm Surge is a fantastic way to synergize with her kit, and I think that if you are able to get to the late game, to get a few items in, you can just prance around these team fights and really be hard to take down. And that's the thing that Bliss have drafted for themselves this game, right, is they have threats in literally every single position that are DPS carries in their own right. So if you do manage to take one down, there'll always be one more to take its place. So it's going to require quite a collaborative effort from the side of Direwolves to make sure that no one on Bliss is getting too far out of check.
Well, it's an interesting one to really bring up here, because I suppose when we think about Why Not and his playstyle, obviously he's had some very unique champions. We've seen the likes of you know, Elise and even Rengar come out with some wild and wacky runes, but it's always been the unique champs alongside the interesting paths, right? It's not the conventional, I'm going to go for the free clamp clear into this or whatever it may be. There's been some very weird and wacky things going on, and obviously Lisa being a fairly veteran player in the region, you'd imagine shouldn't be caught off too much by all of that. But I think for me, more than anything, it's how they can interact with their mid laners, because Harry has a bucket load more experience over Emphis, who only had his debut last split. So looking at that matchup in isolation, I think Tristana should have a field day here.
Yeah, absolutely. Tristana does very well into Orianna, especially early on. You're just able to really jump on top of her and have your way with the lane. To me, that's the issue for Direwolves here. And I think Lisa actually has quite a big burden on himself this game. As we load onto the Rift, but he's got 3 losing lanes, Skimmy. Is he going to be able to pull them back, or will Bliss just steamroll them? We're about to find out.
That we certainly are here, Max. It looks like another game where you might be molding already before the game's actually started here, because Emphis with the 5th and final pick, elected for this matchup. It's worth noting, said, you know what, I don't care about my matchup in particular. I want to go for what works for this team. You can see that Direwolves are going for that level 1 play. Violet's already spotted out the Nautilus, and that's all he needs to know, that I am backing away. He doesn't know that everybody else is there. But he certainly doesn't want to do anything with that play.
And props to River, Skimmy. He's gone for the Ignite to match that of Biopanther. So this is a very solo queue, explosive top lane that we're going to see. And honestly, for someone who's entering their first game versus probably the most experienced player we have in our region, to have this dynamic where it's almost like what you'd play in on a normal Friday night, it could work in River's favor.
I mean, it really could. I mean, there's been countless times we've had new players join the region, and they've been, you know, stuck in their ways, I suppose, from coaching staff. Like, look, you're locking in these champions because this is what's meta right now. There've been countless times. I mean, I always think of Poltron as a class example where it's like, you know, just lock in the Shaco. Just play something that you're really good at. You know, those pocket picks are there for a reason. That's why you became a pro in the first place, right, with all that high ranking. So if River pulls out a massive performance here today into Biopanther, would be a huge statement.
Absolutely would be. And Harry already leveling that W level 1 to jump on top of Emphis and make sure that he's staking his claim in terms of the priority of the lane. But this is kind of what I was alluding to earlier on in the game, right? If you do manage to play these lanes out correctly from the side of Bliss, you are going to have priority in the majority of them. And then it comes down to Lisa to kind of determine where he wants to gank, because when your lanes are all losing, it becomes so hard. If you mess up even a single timing, the enemy jungler is going to be able to get so much in trade. But here goes Direwolves, level 1 already. Straight
away getting nice and aggressive with this one, making sure that Katsuri can get as many of those range stacks to pop and make sure that he can keep the Aphelios at bay, which seemingly is the case right now. Make sure that Aphelios doesn't get a chance to scale up to that 1-2 item spike, which has been so notorious all the way dating back to, what, Season 10. But definitely making sure that Katsuri's announced his comeback.
Default skin Riven is a crime, can I just say that?
Not a fan.
The fact that he's a Riven one trick and he's going for default skin Riven really pains me, as Harry is not letting up the gas in this mid lane.
No, certainly isn't, really making sure that it goes the way you expected it to, right? Just explosive shots, fully stacked up, ramping damage, a lot of passive push, and then obviously the ability to shred down a turret too. But they're going to try and hopefully even it out by finding the same levels of success in the bot lane. Now that we do veer back to the top lane, what is the best skin? I mean, I feel like I'm a bit of a basic bitch and I go for like the championship Riven skin all the way back to what, season 2?
Yeah. Did you have the original one?
I feel like I got the icon or something, but I never got the skin. I'm a bit gutted about that. It'd be worth hundreds, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, I was a Riven one trick when I was coming up, and I really love that skin. Look, honestly, after playing a bunch of Riven, it was Battle Bunny, but now I'd say it's Dawnbringer. Like the way it feels is just so nice. It's
always that interesting case there, like the pseudo, like, oh, it just feels cleaner when I have this skin on. It's like, oh, it's been competitively disabled. Like, it's too broken.
But anyway, back to this mid lane situation here. The TP is used from both mid laners, and to me, the fact that Harry is jumping in like this with no vision on the enemy bot side really speaks to the confidence that he has, right? Obviously, the communication is coming out as Flash is committed.
He's looking for a first blood. Biopenth is back in business. He locks in the rumble. And just like that, would you believe it? He's got himself first blood.
I mean, we'll have to see how that started, but it looked like a really bad wave position for River, right? The wave was kind of frozen under by his turret, and when you're playing against the Rumble, it's very hard to break a freeze unless you do have that extra HP advantage, which River just did not get. And now Flash burnt, Ignite burn as well. Things are not looking good for River.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the other factors, right? If you are running a TP-less solo laner, if you do die, it's compounded even further. It feels really, really bad. So certainly any little small margin that either side can try and take, they'll go for it. And that means that Bio goes back to base, picks up his tier 2 boots, returns, and it'll make life even easier for him. Now, we know that there's a ward in that bush. Whether or not his bot lane have communicated that to why not. He's hanging around in the area right now, just out of fog of war. But he's going to go for the delayed recall in the end. Looks like his bot lane just want to try and push that wave in and go back to base themselves. Now, surely Shen Xuan looks to try and cancel this one, as they are sitting on a ward right now, but ultimately has forced him to stick around and push one more.
Yeah, he was on vision, but that was such a massive wave that I think if you hook in there, you are going to have to go down because you have no flash yourself. So really smart by One there to just hover out of vision, make sure they get their wave in, and really avoid these timers. If you can kind of, you know, dodge the rel invades, dodge the rel ganks early on, then your bot lane's feeling really good, right? They're able to play, they're able to take advantage of their priority. As Diabol's are heading towards these Void Grubs, but Hayri does have priority, and he is here.
He certainly is. He's only going to now figure out that one has already been taken away. At least they're going to jump across the wall. You can just do that, right? You can just snag away one if you like and then go away afterwards, but River's been caught completely stuck. He was trying to act as a bit of a bodyguard, saying nobody should come into this part of the map, but it wasn't to be their favor. 2 then taken away by Bliss, as the aggression continues bot side.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there from River, to be honest. It looked like he wanted to go and perhaps provide a bit of support to his jungler, but then realized that he is in the Void Pit with no flash and definitely not able to make it to the wall in time to jump off. So gone from bad to worse with this top lane situation. We already talked about how a matchup like this can be so snowbally. As Hook's on bot lane, Rel's here.
Hooks are on and a fight is soon to break out. Scott is the focus right now as he goes for the handshake. He's given himself the takeover to try and live just a little bit longer, but it's not to be the case. Violet flashing across the wall with those chakrams, just making it look ever too easy. There is a double kill for him now, looking at Lee Sin saying, how dare you gank us? 3v2, what have you? Give me 3 kills, and this is what an affiliate should look like.
Yeah, this is a team that has played together for a month. You can already tell the synergy between this bot lane, right? Scott, we questioned it before as we take a replay. So the hook comes in, right, Skimmy? But look at the way that they're fighting in. There's so much damage, and they go forwards, but Violet, just in time, manages to kill Chen Xuan and takes the bailout onto Scott, flashing over to get the double kill. And now this is an Aphelios with 3 kills and a hefty CS lead, and it's Violet.
Look, I wonder if there's a world in which Violet is quietly smiling, realizing with the exodus of players like Cheon, Predator, and Raze, he's wanting to try and assert himself as the premier AD carry. Obviously, their matchup into King on Antic is going to be one that we get really excited for. But at the meantime, I mean, this is really him saying, look, I am so much better. I'm going to come into this laning phase now 3-0 and really accelerate any kind of early game conditions that you guys had.
And now, what do you really do, right? Because you're playing this Kalista Nautilus who have to, by nature, go forwards into this Aphelios Renata, but now this Aphelios is so fair that he's just going to be really machine gunning this Nautilus. So your avenues for options of plays really start to slim down, and even towards this top lane, what are you going to do against Bio? He is more than happy to sacrifice a wave so he doesn't die.
Oh, absolutely. And it kind of goes back to your point from before, right? We were saying Direwolf's comp looks comprehensive. It looks built to do, you know, great team fighting, all the rest. Hold that point for 2 seconds here because the Hex Slash across the wall. Lisa looking for Biopanther. Down goes the Rumble Ultimate. The red carpet all burning on top of it, but it's just not enough. The burst is far too great here from Direwolves. That's a fantastic gank to even up the odds.
And a really nice angle there from Lisa, to be honest. I don't think Bio was expecting that. Yes, he knew that the Pixel Brush was controlled with those control wards, but I don't think he thought about the commitment there from Lisa. But speaking of Lisa and his willingness to sacrifice laners, this is something he was always known for when he was playing back on the likes of Peace, was he was always that player who was willing to give up for his laners to get ahead, right? And that's what he really needed to do to equalize this top lane matchup.
Well, it was literally about to beat my point because I was going to say for Bliss, you know, they're winning their lanes. They're just being the, you know, the glass cannon C-stealers demons that you basically highlighted during the draft. But then a nice little counter punch like that from Lisa really looks to try and keep this game at a bit more of a stable affair before it completely snowballs out of control. You're already looking at the deficit being down 9,000 gold, rather 9 minutes and nearly 3,000 gold. So let's see if Why Not can try and elevate it to the 9 number as he's in the area. Uses the Scryer's Bloom to reveal that nobody's in and around at the moment. Lisa just literally resetting and running straight back top again.
Yeah, he's top again, but look how much he's giving up here. His whole top side jungle, his whole bot side jungle rather, is going to be taken here. And while he's pressuring top, there's all this time. Bio has flash.
I was going to say, surely the same play doesn't work twice, but no, hot on the money is Bio, flashing away to safety, making sure that, yeah, I understand, I'm very strong, and obviously Rumble is insanely broken too, so there will be a lot of pressure going my way, but it's all about what can the rest of his team get done when that happens. And if you look at mid and bot, you'd be quite happy if you're Bio.
I mean, that's the thing, right? This trade just isn't worth it. Bio's down 6 CS, which he'll recoup eventually anyway by taking the Gromp and getting some camps into him. And on the meantime, you're losing plates, you're losing camps, you're giving your enemy bot lane a chance to reset and get up towards these grubs. Keep in mind that Bliss did get two of the first 3 grubs, right? So if they manage to take all 3, they will still be able to secure that Void Might passive from that. So I'd assume that once Wino completes his reset, he is going to head towards that top side of the map, and he's already up a hefty amount of CS on Lisa.
He certainly is. He's up by a massive margin already. Leandri's completed 10 minutes on the dot. That's exactly where you want to be if you're looking to try and snowball this game out of control. River, he gets the kill first. Even if it is to be traded 1-for-1, he won't mind that, I'm sure. He'll feel good about that one. But overall, still it is Team Bliss in the driving seat, pushing all those lanes, and we're ready for that Lilia to claim all those extra Void grubs.
But Skimmy, that's the outcome of all of Lisa's attention, right? It's a 1-for-1. So when you think about this, he has to commit the flash. Biopanther is playing out range, has the bone plating up as well that he's going to be able to get value out of. And I mean, yeah, he goes down, but it's a 1-for-1 at best, and he is still going to be able to get back to lane to pick up the majority of this CS. So definitely not as profitable as you would like if you were the Direwolves.
Not the ideal situation, but I'm sure it feels good for him on a personal level, playing as one trick and being able to find
Where is he?
With a kill. We are waiting to find where he's going, because right now he's hopping over walls, and they are looking for a massive 4-man dive. They found their target. That's who they want. Take down Scott and remove any kind of bailout potential. Out goes that hostile takeover. It doesn't hit who they need, but Violet's answering back and saying, Rive, your lane's up top, buddy. Go back to the graveyard. Hook connects again. Scott's dead. All the Void grubs claimed. So Violet now in a 1v3 situation underneath his own turret. Has nothing left in the tank. Can he get one more? With a rain top turret, it's not to be as Lisa just skirts the line of death.
You know what, Skimmy? I don't think I've ever been happier to call a team a wildcard team than I have the Direwolves this game. I mean, River dies top lane, trades 1-for-1, respawns, runs bot lane, dives them, as Emphas is getting dived again.
He's been put to sleep, and Harry's going to make sure of it as they claim their kill. And not only will they get all those passes with the Void Mites now working their way towards that mid lane, that mid tier 1 is dead for right. So let's run it back without all side, because it's a 4-man dive with a hook to open.
It's a 4-man dive, but there's actually not that much damage coming out towards Scott here, which is why he's able to live for so long, right? Katsuri's still hitting the wave, and by the time they actually end up taking Scott down, he's got the bailout, so he ends up trading a 1-for-1 anyway. And they have to commit so much. I mean, look at it. It's a Faith called, it's an Rel ultimate as well. For a 2-for-1 situation, whilst on the other side of the map, they're losing kills and they're losing plates.
Look at the hostile takeover that connects there as well. I mean, suddenly you're finding yourself even more kills off the back of that one. It's kind of criminal how they put all this attention and their numbers mismatch, but still, Violet and Scott are able to fight back with so much skill in it. Bot lane now completely evened up as a result of things, boasting on their one item spike. But back to top lane in a more traditional setup. Shojin being rushed here by River. Looking to try and do as much damage as quickly as he can to make sure that Bio can't freeze it like this. How annoying would that be?
I mean, that's the thing, and when we've panned top lane almost any time this game, it has been the wave in this position. Bio has just had the way of things in terms of this lane, and that's forced River to create some unorthodox roams like this. Like, where is bro going right now, Skimmy? I just don't know.
Look, he's doing solo queue things right now. He's exploring the landscape, which is Summoner's Rift, as Violet is once again the focus, but this time Why Not is here. They've got members to back them up. Harry on the roam as well. Lisa very quickly forced to run back as the handshake shoves up Shen Xuan against the wall, but in pounces Lisa. There is the ultimate. There is Harry being the single focus, but he knocks them back. Katsuri can't find it. Why Not body blocking beautifully as Scott tanks up free, puts down Death Sleep, and the Moonlight Vigil. Only 30 minutes in, not enough anything crazy just yet, but Katsuri takes him down.
I mean, how do you even prepare for this if you are Team Bliss, right? It's the second roam from the enemy top laner all the way to bot lane. I mean, yes, he's getting an advantage out of it, but really it's an assist that they're going to translate into a dragon here, so not the worst from what was a pretty bad laning situation for this Riven.
All things considered, it's a way for Direwolves back into this one. They're not going to shy away from any gunfights, so they've answered the call. They've taken a kill for themselves, and they will claim themselves the second dragon of the game. Funny that, it will be another Infernal Soul to play for. But Lisa's been caught in the wrong spot. Why Not wrapping around the long way here, making sure that he's dead. Actually snipes the kill away from Violet, but he will put them to sleep, and Violet will say, well, I'll get the turret, I'll get the second kill, and job done.
Yeah, I mean, simple as that, right? They surely got the dragon, but unfortunately, as we take a replay here, they see River on vision, but I feel like you just don't even process that if you're Harry, right? You don't accept the fact that the enemy River is here again. And this is actually a really massive hostile takeover from Scott here, layered on top of the CC from Violet, but the hook does end up coming through, rather the shockwave to find Scott at the end there.
Well, 15 minutes in, it is Team Bliss up by a gross margin, up by 6,000 gold. 3 turrets to nothing at this stage, and River being surrounded by all different angles. Shen Xuan's hit the hook to absolutely nowhere, and has been taken down into a grave as a result. Prime position in for Bliss to then capitalize on this and go for the first Rift Herald if they like. They can fan out and take all the attention in all 3 lanes as well, as it's similarly now the laning phase over. But really, can't put a foot wrong. They can have all this damage, bait Direwolves into a big 5v5, but just out mechanics.
That's the thing, Skimmy, is when you are this far ahead as a comp that has so much damage, it's really hard to play a Nautilus, and it might be hard to play an Orianna too here if Harry has anything to say about it.
He just walks past the shockwave. I can't believe it. The rocket jump on his head hits him one more time for good luck, and I mean, doesn't even have flash available, Max. That's really where we're at.
Yeah, it's just destruction here. Every single lane that you look to for the side of the Direwolves is losing, and losing quite handedly as well, and it's a question of where do you go to now? You're going to have to force something on an objective fight, but the next one's spawning in 3 minutes. Can you hold out? Can you stem the bleeding until you can get a good 5v5? It's looking pretty hard right now.
Looking to see where he can go from this point in. As we once again look to try and find our attention in the bot lane. Everything being chucked at this one. Harry being knocked around like a bouncy castle. Do not tell me he lives this. The thumbs up is as clean as you get because they literally threw everything at him and he just jumps away.
That's got to hurt. I mean, that thumbs up as well. Chen Xuan maybe not giving up on it. He has... Oh!
Hey, credit where credit is due. He had a crack.
Well, Katsuri said winning's fun, but, you know, he just wants to have fun with the boys. And this looks like a game where having fun with the boys is certainly the top priority. I mean, Harry is just playing with the Direwolves.
He certainly is. Really wants to make sure that, hey, there's a reason why I spent those many years, or that many years rather, overseas. I'm come back and I've got a point to prove that I still have it. And I will be the go-to best mid laner in the region, no doubt about it. I'm sure he's already got his sights set on the likes of Kisse, for example, that's looked to try and hold that title for the last couple of splits at least. But here's Team Bliss now, looking to try and really fully assert control of the map, deny or at least push back the vision line for Direwolves so they can really do as they please.
And keep in mind, Skimmy, they do still have the Rift Herald in the pocket, right, with these 2 tier 2s being exposed. in mid and bot, they can really just feel free to push into this quadrant, take control, and then when the moment's right, like right now when Biopanther pulls up, pressure these turrets, but Lisa might be going.
Hex flash in, looking to lock down one key member as a result. It's Scott's the focus right now, but the takeover goes across and locks in place all 4 members. River's going to rock up, but it's too late. Scott flashes out the shockwave. Violet gets hit. He pounces on him, but he can't even get Scott. Scott will die to the Ignite of all things. That really shows you where this current game state is at. And that is turret number 4. And we already remembered how much pressure they had with these Void Mites. These turrets are getting deleted.
The turrets are absolutely getting deleted, much like the Direwolves' chances in this game. I mean, it was a nice engage from Lisa, but unfortunately it's just a bit disjointed, right? You don't have the Riven here at this time. You'd like her to be here right now as this engage comes out, because the second Violet flashes, what else is really pressuring? The Equalizer is huge, not to mention the Lilia ult. And by the time River actually makes it into the fight, it's too little too late.
Certainly was done before it really had a chance to truly ramp up into effect there. You can see that Scott will be a little bit gutted, no doubt, that he does fall on down at the end of that final tick of the Ignite, but ultimately it was a bit of a disjointed one, and that Team Bliss just pulled the trigger a little bit early. Direwolves trying to bide their time to wrap around and get the flank for the one shot that River no doubt was hunting for, but Bliss was just not allowing that one to happen. And Katsuri has done the biggest crime an AD carry can do, which is face check a brush, and realize that there's multiple members there.
Harry just does not care. He's jumping in.
He's just jumping into tanks. He says, you couldn't kill me once, you can't kill me twice. Shockwave, is it ready? Yes, it is, but an instant buster shot away, making sure that Shockwave isn't going to land. Its target is being used. He's still alive. He's found 1. He's found 2. He's absolutely done it, the madman. And he'll say, look, I can let the rest of my team finish off the business there. Emphis is limping away. Now, he does know that both Harry and Violet are very, very low. And if he can continue to find his time here, chucking out those command attacks, then Bio's like, I've had enough of this one. Let him burn.
That's not very fair, is it? He just wanted a fair 1v1, but he's not going to get it. I mean, Harry, if he's able to just face tank those 3 members of the Direwolves like he is and get out unscathed, it really just speaks to how over this game is. He's already sitting at 2 items here on this Tristana, and every single person on Bliss just does so much damage that no one is really able to survive.
I mean, at this point, why not really is a laner? He's on par with the likes of both Riven and Emphis as well, right? Level 12 is there. He's got 2 items complete, all the Haunting Guys penetration, just to absolutely shred through you. But once again, Harry, if you take a bow, look at this. He just doesn't care.
Yeah, he jumps in straight away, kind of knowing that Orianna is far enough away from the play that he won't actually die to the damage. Really smart use of the Buster shot there to take the Orianna away, actually, because he knows that the rest of the Realm and the Nautilus aren't going to do enough damage to actually be able to take him down. And in this prolonged chase, Harry's found another victim.
Bit harder to face check into a Riven though, so he's definitely going to show a bit more respect to this one. 2-man stun comes out, Lisa pouncing into effect. There is the takeover, there's the leap away, but Chen Xuan, don't miss.
No.
He's found it this time, and it is a collapse from all 3 sides. 4 members of the Direwolves are there. Well, actually the entire team rather is there, and they will get their just dessert.
I mean, Skimmy, that's 2 kills down. The Baron is up and available. There's a Kalista with the Smite paired with the Rel that would be able to take this down from quite high HP. How are Bliss going to respond? They have their Equalizer, they have the Lilia ult, and the Moonlight Vigil. Here they go.
No, they've caught what they needed. They've taken Harry, they've taken Violet, they've got all you could ask for right now, but Rumble comes into effect. The AP mages are saying we'll do it all on our own. Attack damage is overrated. We've found 4 between us all, but Katsuri. Oh, he tried to hear the montage music. He tried to go crazy with it, but the ace comes out and the Baron is denied.
Yeah, this is the problem with Bliss's comp right now, is everyone is just too much of a threat. You see the kill onto Violet, you think it's going well, but then you remember you have this Lily, you have this Rumble, and here it goes again, right? They're doing the Baron, they know that they can't really take this down with the amount of poke that's available from the side of Bliss. So the second they know where Violet is, the second he shows on vision, everyone commits. And yes, they managed to take him down, but look at the Equalizer, look at the sleeps coming in from Why Not here. There's just too much damage left alive.
Far too much to juggle with, and it's like a Hydra, right? You cut off one head, but so many more still persistent afterwards. So, yes, whilst you've taken those 2 in isolation, that looks like a surefire win. It would be usually in any other composition. Not to be the case here today. Chen Xuan, the one looking to try and be zoned away. That's a nice defensive hook, realizing that this one is a done deal. And that Baron is taken, reclaimed, and going the way of Team Bliss.
Yep, the Baron is taken. Looking at the inventories here, both AD carries working their way towards a Bloodthirster or something of the like, you'd have to assume, just so far ahead of their counterparts, particularly Harry, right? Emphasis sitting only really on the Luden's companion at the moment. not going to be offering any really irrelevant damage towards this Tristana. So if you just set her up in a side lane, you get her enough vision, you're going to have to do something like this and commit 4 people, but they've spotted it out.
We certainly have face check here from Shinjuan, realizing that Why Not is there. Does get his wall down, that was what is afterwards. Fate's Call has to get chucked out nicely, but the equalizer goes down. They're all in the oven, they're all cooking, they're all hitting one another. And Violet is able to get one. Now Ketsuri is forced to really watch his team get put to sleep and join that grey screen with him. There is the triple kill, there is Ultraviolet, ready to rock and roll.
That is just nasty from Bliss. They corral them right into the waiting arms of Biopanther's equalizer, and they've got a wave, they've got the Void Mites, they've got the Baron Skimmy. I think they might be going for the end.
They can look to end it right here, right now. You're not wrong. They have so much pushing power. The damage is there, but you absolutely know they want to pad that KDA one bit more. In goes Lisa, hitting the nutty 5-man Magnet Storm, but with all that CC, there is no damage. It doesn't matter. His teammates respawn, but they're going to be locked inside that fountain as the base falls down. And Team Bliss take game 1 in only 23 minutes.
29-9 in 23 minutes. We knew Bliss were going to be good. That wasn't in question, but just how good. And it feels like if that game 1 is anything to go off, pretty damn good is the answer.
They had the land buff. They had the ability to play with basically the craziest draft, just damage and more damage. They've taken out game number 1 here. We're going to jump to a quick break, and when we return, it's time to see game number 2.